Hello everyone. Today I would like to discuss our ethical relation with animals. We have kind of a strange relationship with animals. We protect these rhinos because they are a protected species, and we keep them in a zoo, and we look at them and we find them beautiful. Um, we eat sometimes pigs, we eat sometimes fish, but we sometimes also keep them as a pet and love them. That's a bit strange, perhaps. Now, we can explore, of course, why we feel affected to some animals and we eat some other animals. That's more like a behavioral study. But we could also ask ourselves an ethical question. Do we have a certain moral responsibility for the well-being of animals? In essence, there are three main approaches in ethics towards this particular question, and I will explore all three of them in this video. In a first approach, the answer is we do not have any moral responsibility towards animals. Now, why would that be? Because an animal is not a moral being. In essence, a human being is a moral being. We, as human beings, are capable of taking ethical decisions. The average animal is not. Hisayo makes a very interesting comparison. What he says is that when a human being is blind, we can say that he has very bad eyes, because a human being is supposed to see. When a tree cannot see, we cannot possibly say that the tree has bad eyes, because a tree is not supposed to see anything, at least not through eyes. Well, the same goes for morality. A human being is supposed to be able to have and experience a certain morality. An animal is not supposed to be a moral being. Therefore, we cannot possibly say that there is some kind of a moral link between a human being and an animal. This does not necessarily mean that we should mistreat animals, but it does mean that we do not have a moral obligation towards animals. And it also means that then we can treat animals the way we see fit. This could potentially mean that we want to uphold something like the bio industry. It could also mean that we can hold a pet for company if we would want to. Tom Regan holds a different position. What he basically says is that it matters whether or not a species has a psychological identity. And this means that a species should be able to experience pain and pleasure, and, for instance, should be able to remember where it came from or where it should go to. If that is the case, if, for instance, an animal has such a psychological identity, then we should take that into consideration and treat it as if it is a human being, in a way. A pig, for instance, can be said to have a psychological identity. The pig is able to experience pain or pleasure and has a very good memory, so knows where he's coming from or where he should go to. When you compare that to the fish has no idea, and we have no idea also if the fish is able to experience pain, pleasure, knows where he came from, knows where he goes to. So, according to Reagan, we might not eat the pig, but we could eat the fish. Where Reagan is more like a deontologist, he assumes that there are fundamental rights also for animals. This author, Peter Singer, is also a very famous ethicist. He is more the utilitarianist, and he claims that we should take into consideration the same interest. When animals have the interest of the absence of pain, there is no valid reason why we should not take that into the equation of the greatest happiness for the greatest number. We should, as a result, take into consideration the interest of animals. So that would mean that we should not eat the pig, but perhaps also not eat the fish, because if the fish responds to pain, then the fish has the same interest as we have, and therefore we should also strive for the greatest happiness for the greatest number, also in the context of fish. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen now three fundamentally different approaches towards animal ethics, if you like. And instead of asking ourselves why we have a different perception per animal in terms of should we keep it as a pet or should we leave it alone or should we eat it, I think that asking the question what is our moral relation with the animal, adds something to the discourse on how we should, as human beings in general, treat animal species. Thank you very much for watching, and good luck with your studies.